That is one big pile of shit.
Hey, what's going on, guys? You're watching the Modding Corner, and 2025 was an interesting year for the games, to say the least, with plenty of highs and lows and lots of lows. This year kind of felt like a filler year for what's to come next, but I feel like there was some cool stuff that happened too. So today, let's talk about the state of every active Dragon Ball game. No, I will not be talking about the card game or Divers because I really don't have nothing to say. I don't keep up with those games, nor do I care. But I will start with a game that I think had a great year.
Give me eternal life!
Xenoverse 2, my bread and butter and my favorite infinite money glitch after GTA 5. Usually I'm not afraid of calling this game out and its bullshit when I see it, but I do think that 2025 was one of the game's stronger years, and yeah, I'm shocked by that, seeing as we thought things were just going to slow down after Sparking's release. But we got a really good DLC in the Daima pack, in which we got two really fun characters in Super Saiyan 4 Daima Goku and Daima 3 Vegeta, and a top 3 DLC in my opinion with the release of Future Saga Chapter 3, both of which I made dedicated reviews on, singing its praises. Thanks to the renewed effort in the story again, I feel like this is the most fun time to be a Xenoverse fan than it has been in a very long time, especially with the constant speculation, exciting new characters, and exciting new formats like the dating sim mode. Now, I know a lot of people want the new Dragon Ball game to be a Xenoverse 3, but personally, I really do not see a reason for it to exist outside of model and graphical reasons. Truthfully, I'm having some of the most fun I've ever had in the base game in years thanks to how well it was managed this year, so all I ask is for Xenoverse is to just keep its momentum and keep things exciting. Unlike...
What happened to me was a tragedy, but I don't have to be a millionaire.
Okay, let me say this off the jump. I love Sparking Zero. I love the base gameplay. I think the story is kind of cool if you're not Vegeta, and I think it's the best Dragon Ball game to come out in the 2020s so far. Granted, the bar is in hell, but that's just my opinion. I will say the main reason that I and many others were disappointed by the game this year is because they handled that DLC rollout like absolute garbage. Like, we deadass went whole seasons without getting a crumb of news on when the next season was, or even when the next character was dropping. We typically didn't know this stuff until like 48 hours before it dropped, and any DLC hype was basically non-existent because we knew Pack 1 was Superhero and Pack 2 and 3 were going to be Daima, so it just felt like we were waiting months just to see things we already knew was coming. And on top of all that, we did not get another crumb of additional story content or anything to celebrate the new characters. Just, okay, here's your characters, daddy's gotta run back to the store, see you in 6 months. Seriously, where did all that hype from the marketing of the base game go? And no, I don't expect them to just double the roster over the course of the year, but I really don't like how many corners were cut in making these DLCs. Like for Superhero, why didn't we get Teen Goten, Trunks, Gotenks? In Daima, why weren't any of the Tamagamis playable, but we got freaking Pansy and her pops? Why does Goku Mini not have Super Saiyan 2 and 3? As well as the adult forms just being their new forms introduced in Daima with no transitionary forms. Like, come on, I don't think it would have been that hard just to slap a new hair model or change an outfit or make one new skill and call it a character. Half the roster basically plays the exact fucking same anyway. And despite all of that, it's getting a season 2. And hopefully they can keep this interesting by not telling us which arcs these characters come from, but we'll see. Overall, I think these DLC rollouts were absolute tragedies for Sparking. And hopefully it can at least be remembered as a fun game we were on for 2 weeks and a year from now. And it'll be all like, why did we stop playing that? And then we'll hop on it for like 2 hours before dropping it again like a Minecraft server. Oh, and don't even get me started on the Switch version. They did a good job, but still, where the fuck are the DLCs? Anyway, enough with that. Let's talk about some mobile games.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Genkishin Squadra officially released on September 10th, 2025. Since then, the game has gone through 3 seasons, and I started covering it for a bit during a type cycle, but I quickly just stopped playing because that Season 0 connection was straight cheap. Though based on what I've heard through the grapevine, it's finding its niche. Thanks to it being a MOBA and free to play, it doesn't hurt in getting new players. Even recently, they just dropped a crazy season lineup of Super Vegito, Bardock, and Kefla. So that alone will bring in new players or get some old ones back. I see this game taking the Marvel Rivals approach with constant updates and seasonal stuff to do as well. Since the game's main producer is Toshi, who was the previous producer for both Dokkan and Legends, I have no doubt this game is gonna have a strong first few years, so good job with this. You guys get a good stop.
Because I'm all out of money!
me!
Dokkan. Where do I start with you? Well, on a personal note, this is the first year since year one that I have not actively been following the game. This is due to burnout, which, yeah, that's gonna happen to you after playing a game every day for almost 10 years. Even still, from the outside looking in, I think this may have been the worst year for Dokkan in a good minute. And not because it did anything necessarily wrong or drastically different, but 11 years in by the time this video goes out, and it feels like we're just going through the motions with this game. Meta-shifting fusions, one hybrid to rule them all, and hard-ass events that you need a degree in mathematics or the Truth DT video to figure out how to beat.
Well, Patrick, what do you think about this problem?
You simply change the literal term to a coefficient, and the minuend will achieve the desired quotient. Even the simplest of mammals could figure it out with a little thought.
Also, let's face it, Dokkan has a fucking character problem. We are fresh out of stuff to take from the anime at this point, which is both a blessing and a curse. For one, whenever they have to use a hype character like a fusion, they just have to make shit up on the fly, which honestly leads to us getting some new iconic stuff in its own right. On the other hand though, we are scraping the bottom of the barrel for characters. LR Pycon, LRTN, Dokkan Fest Mercenary Tao, our third LR Future Gohan. Fuck it, anyone but LR Kid Buu. They had a whole anime come out last year, and yet they've only adapted the minis, Glory Hole, and Gomer. Remember back when UI Sign released in the anime day and date? Where the hell was that love for Daima? But nah, let's release the third Gogeta this year because he has to offset the money we lost releasing Tao. Look, I'm sure one down year won't kill the game, but I feel like we're really banking on two things. For one, the anime has to come back soon because shit is getting slow. Two, more and more people are getting exhausted from the Dokkan Gacha loop of get stones to get strong guy, and then he sucks like 3 weeks later. At least, that's how I feel. But while I feel like Dokkan hasn't innovated on its gameplay loop in a while, if you look down the street, maybe that's for the best.
Why don't they like it? We spent $250 million on this!
Yo, what the fuck is happening over at Dimps? Like, I've gone on record saying that I was never a big Legends fan, but I have never seen a Dragon Ball community hate its game's direction as much as I've seen Legends. From what I understand, Legends players are stuck in a vicious dopamine cycle where one team is the cream of the crop and everyone else gets the scraps until the next anniversary or Legends Fest comes around to take the crown. Also, Legends has been very stingy on Chrono Crystals, which is the in-game currency, and with how garbage the rates are in this game, you're gonna need plenty of them. Then, on top of all that, they decide to add a new supporter system. And this right here might kill the game quickly if they don't nerf it. They add various buffs like healing, sealing, combo breaking, and whatever the f Belmont does. All this does is add another unnecessary layer of gacha mechanics and relegates characters who should be getting their own cards into basically background characters. I don't think it's a hot take to say this just sucks, and is another reason why you should stay the f away from Legends. If you aren't already an established player in this ecosystem, then don't bother joining it unless you really got a hole in your wallet to burn. And if you do, you can be a generous person and give that money to me. And even if you are that generous of a person, you can just subscribe to me. I mean, it's free. You don't gotta pay money for that. But in all honesty, I could take all the ad revenue this video will make for the rest of YouTube's existence, and I probably could not afford to max out a supporter. But you know what, Legends fans? At least you still have a Dips Dragon Ball game that is still being supported. Let's talk about breakers. Okay, fine, I'll talk about breakers. Okay, so a couple of months ago, I made this video talking about breakers, and basically nothing's changed. We are still very much in the driest point the game has ever been in, with us not knowing if it'll get another season or not. But the official Breakers Twitter account did say there was more to come, so hopefully that means we get a new raider and not just one new outfit and call it a day. Regardless, it is just sad seeing Breakers at the state it's in. At the time I wrote this script, it was reported that Breakers numbers have reached an all-time low during winter break of all things, which is definitely not a good sign. I do still think this game is in its twilight years though, and we will probably see it in the service announcement come this year or the next. Again, I would love to sell you false promises of how they could salvage this game with the right team or direction or character, but at this point, it's over, gang. They're still charging people money to play this game, and the meta is cooked. You got motherfuckers sweating their dick off in ranked for what? My brother in Christ, you're all that's left. I don't know, at least try going easy on what little player base you have left. You got lobbies still taking anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes to even find, just to die in the first 2 minutes. And again, a lot of this can be fixed if they just made the game free to play, but with how bad the public perception of the game is and people who stuck by it longer than anyone else finally abandoning it, I think it's safe to say the game is dead. But hey, what do I know? Remember the last time I called a Dragon Ball game dead? Okay, so last year when I made this type of video, I did not include fighters. This was because of a few reasons. For one, the game ended perfectly with the release of Gogeta 4. Android 21 was just a bacteria eating the rotten corpse. But for years, fighters has just existed dormantly. Bandai stopped supporting it outside the occasional championship event and Spotlight for the Battle Hour, while ArcSys has fully moved on with projects like Guilty Gear Strive and Marvel Dokkan Fighting Souls. So color me impressed when suddenly on a random Saturday morning I woke up to this. That's right, Fighters is coming back. For a bit. We don't know if Fighters is getting another season or not, or if Daima Goku is just another one-off character, but either way, this announcement alongside the new balance patch reignited my love for the game. I still suck. Yeah, I'm making no secret that I'm buns at the game, but Fighters just has that sauce to it, you know? Sure, you may not win many games or any game on rank, but you have fun anyway. Unless you main Z Broly, then I think you should kill your Fighters being around again, even if it's just for Daima Goku, has been a good time. I've even been making videos on the game and playing casually again, so hopefully we do get that season 4 or even a full-blown sequel someday. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you all, I completely forgot about Kakarot in the script until I began to record this video, and I think that just goes to show how much of an afterthought the game is to me. Now, if you're a newer casual Dragon Ball fan who didn't really grow up with the series, this game is great for like the first 2 arcs until they realized they had to hit a deadline and rush to selling Buu sagas. Regardless, the game has marched on, and they recently announced that it hit 10 million sales, which is amazing for an anime game. We even got recent DLCs featuring Dragon Ball Daima content, which I played both on stream, and I must say, don't buy this. Now, I have a massive problem with Kakarot, and that is the gameplay. The gameplay feels like an action RPG on autopilot, since you only really have buttons for Ki Blast, Melee, and Supers. That's basically the gist of what you do, and for a long time, I didn't play the DLCs for that game. I stopped buying them myself and just watched the cutscenes on YouTube. Now, you're probably thinking, that's not fair, you could do that with any game story, which is true, but the difference is, as a fan of Dragon Ball, I know exactly how the story is gonna go. So when there's new things in the game that weren't in the original story, I'm excited to play that stuff. That's what I'm playing the game for. Trunks ending the Buu arc early by stopping the boar is something I can only experience in animated form in the Kakarot video game. The problem is Kakarot seems very selective as to what parts of the story they want to add additional content to. I'm not saying that because they have to add that stuff, but if you're not going to add that stuff, please don't skimp out on the actual canonical stuff. I was pretty disappointed with that last Daima battle with Adult Vegeta and Goku vs. Goma, because the game just didn't catch a lot of those smaller details. Like in the anime, Vegeta doesn't just go Super Saiyan 3. He charges Goma while still in motion and transforms, leading to the moment where he finally goes all out. Kakarot just has him transform. Same with the Daimahameha. In the anime, when he shoots that thing, it breaks through all 3 demon worlds, and the anime really makes you feel that shit, man. While in Kakarot, it just stops at Demon World 2. What, did you guys cheap out because Demon World 3 wasn't in this DLC? Except you didn't, because the prologue has you fight Tamagami 3, which you do at the end of the last DLC, so fuck everyone who bought that, I guess. Again, I wouldn't even be this disappointed if I didn't play other better games from this very same studio. Games like Naruto Storm and even the new Demon Slayer game mopped the floor with Kakarot in terms of animation quality. Overall, I do see Kakarot continuing, but I'm not really looking forward to it all that much. Hopefully there's some more cool stuff in store for the future, but next time, please take more risk and don't stat pad fights by reusing old content. Now, if this video comes out on schedule, tomorrow is the Dragon Ball Genki Damatsuri, where we will be seeing new series announcements as well as a brand new game announcement. It's not Xenoverse 3. It's never gonna be Xenoverse 3. If you are watching this video the day it releases and is still confident that it is Xenoverse 3, then let's do a little wager. If by some miracle it's Xenoverse 3 or the next game featuring the Xenoverse CAC style, I will give you a personalized shout out and say whatever you want me to say in the comment below. But if it isn't, then I want you to come back to this video tomorrow and under your comments say, sorry Eric, I was wrong. I didn't want to go to Arizona. Looking at us. Now, I know a lot of you won't do this, and that's fine. I just want to see how far the copers and believers will go to stand on their delusions. Now, as for what I think the next game will be, I don't think it will be a sequel to, well, anything actually. With the release of Sparking and the continuation of Fighters, we basically have all the old gameplay styles updated for the modern day. And I know some of you guys are thinking, what about a classic Budokai or Burst Limit style game? I feel like getting a re-release of those games will suffice, and I don't really think a full-blown continuation is necessary with everything Dims is taking on right now. Now lately, every main Dragon Ball game was built to fill a niche. Fighters was to give us a traditional fighting experience, Kakarot was to have us have the story of Dragon Ball told faithfully in game form, and Sparking was made to bring back that fan-favorite Tenkaichi style of game. So I think the next niche that can and needs to be filled is... We do not have a real Dragon Ball MMO that is active across the world. The last one that was even somewhat popular was Dragon Ball Online way back in 2010, and even then it was only available in Eastern markets. Besides fan versions, we never got that stuff in the West, and there was never any worldwide release for them. Now, I think a Dragon Ball MMO with updated graphics, a strong dev cycle, and frequent updates, as well as a dedicated fan base, can do numbers up there with the likes of Final Fantasy XIV. There's already so much you can use from both Xenoverse and Dragon Ball Online that you can adapt and make a new thing from. I might make this an idea for another video, but if the new announcement isn't something like this, I'm genuinely curious what it could be. A party game? A racing game? Ooh, or even a cooking game? With Dragon Ball, the possibilities are truly endless just because of how flexible the franchise is at its core. So, even if over the last year things have been pretty tragic, like Goku and his friends, it'll come back. Guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. Oh, and we need the anime to come back. Like movie, show, give me both, we're starving!
Please, Daddy.
I told you, when I'm finished, you can have what's left.
There won't be any left. There's never any left.